What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I have a very important video for you guys on today. I'm excited about getting this information out there. This was some of the most important knowledge that I ever received as a musician, and I'm just excited about what this is going to do for so many people. So I'm ready to jump right into it. There are notes on your keyboard or in your instrument that you just don't know what chords to play on top of them sometimes. And you get to a point as a musician where you're playing songs and you say, okay, I want to spice things up, but you just don't know how. And then you go and you watch these videos and you don't know where they're getting these chords from. I'm going to go teach you these chords, okay? So let's start off. You hear it phrased as passing chords, transitional chords. Some people might even say how to use the black notes. And all of it is around the same realm. So we're gonna be in the key of C today. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and back to your 1. All right, so check this out. In the key of C, all of the black notes so happen to be the notes that aren't in the scale. They don't match up with the scale of C. What happens if you're in a song and you want to transition from one spot to another? Let's say you're at the 1 and you want to go to the 6. All right. How do you get there without, or by leaving the key? How do you get there and leave the key at the same time? You don't want to do this. You're kind of tired of that sound. So for the people that may already have a little bit of this concept, I'm going to go ahead and give you some things very quickly so that you can have some things to run with. And then I'm going to break this down a little bit more simpler towards the middle of the video. And then we're going to shoot up a little bit more towards the intermediate, maybe touching on some advanced topics at the end. Let me give you some things that if you don't walk away with nothing else, I want you to get. If you can play a major chord, which is very essential, you'll be able to do what I want you to do. All right, so the first trick or hack is you want to go somewhere. I chose the 6. And I want to go here. Let us go a half step or the note right before the note that we want to go to. Okay. And then go to the 6. So we start off with that concept in our head. What can we play off of that? We can play a major chord where the third note is that note that we're hitting. So what do I mean? If I play the C major, the third note is in root position. The third note is this E. All right. If I play the D major, the third note is this. Okay. E flat major, third note is this. So in other words, I want this to be my third note. So I'm going to play E major. And that's going to take me right to the 6. All right. And it'll take you right to the 6. And of course, you can do that in any inversion, right? So you can do that in any inversion, in the words. The next trick or hack that I want to teach you is using the diminished chords. All right. So diminish, if you go to your 7, it happens naturally. If you skip every note in your scale, it happens naturally. The diminish means there's just you skipping 2 notes every time. So here, skip 2 notes, skip 2 notes, skip 2 notes, and it goes on forever, right? Anyway, if we started to diminish from where we're at, then that works just as fine. So we're here. We're going to our 6, so we are half step before it. And then we go to our 6. And once again, all the inversions all those inversions work. just as well. So if you don't lead with anything else, learn those two techniques. I was very confused on that early on. Learn those two techniques. All right. Now let's talk about, let's break that down a little more simple. Let's talk about that, why that works. Let's say you're a bass guitar player, and as a keyboard player, we have to keep in mind that we are so many instruments in one. Okay. So when you're down here, even here sometimes, you are a bass guitar player. And I'll get into that theory in another video, but I'm pushing it out and I can't wait to get it. When you're playing the role of the bass, you have to understand there are two things that you can do that'll get you to where you want to go. All right. So one is you can play a half step right above where you want to go, and I can demonstrate that. Give me a second to demonstrate that right now. So I want my progression is going to be 1, and it's going to be 6, and it's going to be 4, it's going to be 2, and it's going to be 5, and it's going to be 1. 1, 6, 4, 2, 5, 1. All right. I'm going to proceed each one of those with a half step. So ready? So it's that simple, and diminish works the same way. Diminish works the exact same way. So as a bass player, you know that you can proceed everything with a half step right before. All right. You can also proceed it right above as well, but that's another topic. Now, here's the second important thing. You can proceed it a fifth away. If you're a bass player, the string right above where you want to go will be the fifth. You see me do this all the time. You see this note right here. I'm playing a fifth. The fifth meshes very well. The fifth harmonizes very well. So I can always say 5, 1. Do the same thing for the 6. What's the 6 is 5. Oh, I might have said something very deep just then. So if you were in the key of A, which is where we're at, what's the 5 for that A? Boom. I went to the 4. Boom. And you can use those same chords that we were using before. So those same chords that you used when you were half stepping, you can use those same chords. All right. Now let's get into something. Start to put these pieces together on a more advanced level. You might have noticed that when I went over here to the 3, but I used the diminish from the half step, we created a E7, a E dominant 7. So what's that imply? It implies that dominant chords are the chords that precede pretty much all chords, depending on how you look at it. Okay? Now, the cool thing about this is, no matter how you voice your dominant chords, it'll work. Now, that would be a whole lot to get into, but here's a snippet. I can voice it like that. I can voice it like that. Right? I can voice it there's so many different ways you can voice your dominant chords, but that gets into another subject. I want to leave on a note that can give everybody, the immediate players, intermediate players, something to use immediately. All right. So let's check this out. We're still going to be using, we're only using these 2 notes. We're either using the fifth away or we're using chromatic. All right. And by chromatic, I mean a half step above or below. So let's check this out. Let's look at this. Still keeping it going to the 6. So we're dealing with this. We're dealing with this major 3. What happens if we flatten, diatonically flatten the 3rd? You get a suspended chord. And that'll still take us to the 6. So we can play with that a little bit. What we want to do is introduce new sounds, new colors, give us some new tools to work with. Okay, you won't always need these things, but when you do need them, it's excellent to have them. How can we voice this? Let's we have this. Let's how about we put the B down here and keep it up top? So we have that. And then we go to our 6. All right. And I taught this shape in another video. That video is coming out soon though. So let's check this out. What happens if we keep that same shape but use the chromatic version? All right. That works awesome. It works very awesome. Now let's look at this again. So got this suspended. What happens if we invert that? So let's put this note up top, and then you have this shape, this chordal shape. Part of the chords you just have to know series. Okay. So let's use that with the over the E. Still an E sus chord. Gives us a whole nother sound almost, but it works. Chromatic. Awesome stuff. So if you don't leave with anything else, understand that when you're confused about what to play, no matter what the key is, if you want to go somewhere and start spicing up your playing, play a half step before where you want to go. Play a half step before where you want to go, and either make that diminished or make that the 3rd of a major chord, preferably a dominant major chord. And then if you really want to spice things up, you can go a 5th away to where you're going and use those same chords, the same dominant or the same diminished that you would have done before, and go to where you need to go, whether or not that 5th away is in the key or not. I'm not sure if I gave any examples to where that 5th wasn't in the key, but sometimes the 5th may not be in the key, and it's okay. You can still use that 5th to create those sounds. This is how you begin to sort of open your mind up, expand your hearing, expand your ear, and put yourself in a position to where you can hear the things that other musicians are doing. Or when you see these tutorials from all these great guys, you can begin to understand, okay, what are they doing and why is it working? Now, there's so many things I want to show you in a later video. I want to show you all these dominant chords. I want to show you all these dominant chords. I want to show you some whole tone chords that you can use and different inversions of diminishes and all these things. But this is the foundation. And on that note, I'll holler at y'all. Peace out.